It's meant to be prayed. It's a song for healing the earth. This next song is a chant that I composed and used it on my Changes in a Dream CD. Leland and I use it in Tones for Your Bones. It's called 456 Chant. We're going to switch around, as I believe I should have introduced myself as a multi-instrumentalist, because both of us play a variety of instruments. And this next song we're going to do is an invocation to Yemaya. Does anyone know what that is? Let me backtrack a little bit. This is a song that comes from the folklore traditions of Cuba, the Santeria traditions. And in the Santeria religion, there are many deities or gods and goddesses that they call upon for guidance and protection. And they call them Orishas. And this particular Orisha is Yemaya. She is the Orisha that presides over all the living waters. And so this is an invocation to Yemaya, the Orisha of the waters. I can hear the ocean now.
Hello, everyone who is on the Living Peace Summit. Welcome. This is the pre-summit music with Alex and Leland, doing a preview of Tones for Your Bones, live music and Qigong. This next piece we're going to play on recorders and the happy drum, which is a steel drum.
You're going to show them the happy drum?
Well, I can, but I'm not sure that it actually comes across to the participants, because I don't. That's a question I have. So we're going to go ahead and tell your story of the
alto recorder. This is a song I wrote after spending the night on a beach in Santa Cruz, California. And in the morning, at sunrise, this gentle melody came through. And I simply called it Santa Cruz. 1, 2, 3.
We're setting the mood for this Living Peace Now Summit.
Playing to you live from Silent Days Studio.
Now we turn it over to Mariah.
All right. Thank you, Alex and Leland. That was beautiful. Welcome everyone to our Living Peace Now opening summit. We're so excited to have you here with us today to share a little bit about our program, for you to hear from our spiritual leaders, their thoughts on healing and self-love, and to hear from all of you, to hear from you your thoughts on this month's theme, or to answer any questions you may have for our spiritual leaders. So we have quite the agenda for today. So just to introduce myself, my name is Mariah Stoller. I'm the program coordinator for Living Peace Now. I also teach mindfulness. I'm getting my yoga certification right now, and I'm involved with the Catholic and Christian communities in State College, Pennsylvania. But my job here is to just help everyone get organized and make sure everyone can share their wonderful programming and spiritual practices with all of you. So today, a few quick housekeeping items. For you to get the best experience, I invite you to use speaker view when we are not sharing the screen, because that way you will be able to view who's talking, and the gallery view, sometimes people can get a little misconstrued. It can be hard to see who's actually speaking. And I also want to ask you all to please mute yourselves if you're not speaking, because background noise can interfere with the experience. And again, we want today to be both informational and conversational. So we're going to work hard to leave time for your questions and comments after we introduce everyone and hear from all the spiritual leaders. And with that, we're just going to get right into it. We're going to introduce our spiritual leaders one by one. So I'm going to turn it over to Rosemary and ask her to unmute herself and start us off.
Hi, I am thrilled to be here on this day after working for a couple of years to make this happen. It's like so exciting. I'm Reverend Dr. Rosemary Hyde. Most people call me Rosemary or Reverend Rosemary or whatever else they're comfortable with. I am ordained as a interfaith minister and also as a unity minister. And I'm certified as a pastoral counselor and as a classical homeopathic physician. I think a lot. I ask questions. And I teach and help others who want to deepen their understanding to find happiness and make a difference in the world. I've spent my life learning how critical communities are to our ability to live joyfully, and exploring how to create beautiful, powerful, durable communities that make a difference in the lives of their members. Living Peace Now is where I'm doing that work now. Welcome to our summit and to your community, where we envision you and us sharing peace and joy as we express what we were born to express in this world.
Thank you, Rosemary. Next, we're going to go over to Jeffrey.
Good day, everyone. I'm Jeffrey, living in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I offer shamanic energy techniques from the Peruvian, Native American traditions, and other places from around the globe that I've had the pleasure of sitting in circle in. It's an honor and a pleasure to be working with Living with Peace Now. Please enjoy all the great folks and their offerings to this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Now we're going to move over to Chris.
Thank you. Greetings, everybody. I'm Chris Geith. I'm in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and I'm a minister in training under the mentorship of Rosemary. And I'm also offering spirituality in nature on Monday afternoons through Living Peace Now. I'm an energy healer and also a spiritual artist. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Now we'll have Alex and Leland introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Leland Xiang Weiss. I'm originally from Taiwan and grew up in Central America. and now we live in Durham, North Carolina. And I am a licensed acupuncturist as well as a Qigong practitioner and a Mayan abdominal therapist. And Alex and I have created together a collaboration we call Tones for Your Bones.
And it's fun.
And work.
Both. My name is Alex Weiss. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, composer, and music educator. And my music leads me in many different realms, from working with children in the schools to seniors, senior centers, and festivals around the country, and also to collaborations with my wife Leland, and now with Living Peace Now, where I'm really enjoying being a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex and Leland. Next, we're going to go over to Oswaldo. Oswaldo, could you please unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oswaldo Mora. I'm originally born in Cuenca, Ecuador, South America. And I've been understanding this journey of life for the last 20 years. The previous 28 years I was sleeping. I didn't know what was life about. In these last 20 years, I realized that shamanism is in my essence, and I've been practicing, and also I was initiated in Hawaiian shamanism, knowing that my ancestors sustained there. Being part of Living Peace Now is wow. It's an opportunity, a wonderful opportunity to do what I love most, and is share service. Thank you.
Thank you, Oswaldo. And next, I'll have Nancy introduce herself and also introduce Para, who could not be with us today, but she is also a spiritual leader. Nancy? Nancy, could you unmute yourself, please?
There it is. Okay. I'm Nancy Chu, and together with my colleague, Para Drake, we're both board-certified chaplains. We've created community chaplains to provide clinical chaplaincy and clinical pastoral counseling for those who'd like to talk through the mysteries of spirit and relationships that bring the wonder, puzzlement, and questions that beg to be heard. And we're very glad to be part of Living Peace Now.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nancy, and thank you to all the spiritual leaders. We'll be hearing from them all again in a moment. But next, we're going to go over to our founder, Rosemary, and she's going to share a bit about the vision of Living Peace Now. Rosemary?
Start out by unmuting.
Excellent.
Okay, I'm going to share with you some words that I've been pondering for years now. They are from John Archibald Wheeler. You probably think, who the heck is he? In quantum physics, he was one of the dynamic leaders throughout most of the 20th century. And his statement about the main contribution of quantum physics to human awareness applies right here, right now. He said, "May the universe be brought into being by the participation of those who participate." Participator, he says, is the new concept, the most important new concept given by quantum mechanics. End quote. May the universe be brought into being by participators. The events occurring over the last week in many American cities, and I know also in Paris, have brought home to us that we cannot just stand by. We are participators just because we are just because we are, even when we're trying to hide or look the other way. The shadow self belongs to all humanity, to all of us, and it's up to all of us to reflect, realize, and respond. We have to participate. We can't do anything else. A couple of years ago, I was disgusted. I felt disgusted all the time by the latest inhumane events fueled by greed or by finance or politics on the world stage. And then I realized that spending my life in constantly renewed disgust over what others were doing meant I was losing my opportunity to be the peace and the joy that I wanted to experience in my life. I didn't want to create a life filled with disgust and unhappiness, but that's exactly what I was doing. I realized then that finding a way to be peace, to hold the high ground, and be at peace in myself, because I was doing that, would make me, and because we're one, everybody else who tried it, happier. We would know how our lives really matter in the broader context. And we could see how we were making a difference. So that was the origin of Living Peace Now. In shifting our thoughts from our own personal concerns into a broader aspect, a broader perspective of belonging and sharing and appreciating and understanding, we start living in peace and we find there joy. Peace is not primarily political, it's personal. Peace is inner serenity. It's knowing how to release and allow. It's an envision. It's our daily awareness of what the 14th Dalai Lama referred to as, quote, our shared humanity, our compassionate desire for what every being needs. Every one of us in our connected awareness is walking around shining like the sun as the powerful expression in the world of love and light. So I invite you now to imagine the sunlight. We who are here together and others can shine forth as part of one collaboration to create greater peace. Together we can grow, learn, know that our lives matter, and in doing that we will bring more peace to the world and have fun while we're doing it. Come, shine your light together with us and enjoy knowing that you are making peace happen.
All right. Thank you so much, Rosemary. As always, inspiring words. And we had a few people hop on while you were speaking. So welcome to all of you. So far, we just introduced our spiritual leaders, and we heard a little bit more about the vision of Living Peace Now from Rosemary. But if you missed it, don't worry. She'll be doing daily blog posts throughout the month, and you'll get to hear more of her insights then. So as I said before, we're also going to be discussing with each of the spiritual leaders their thoughts on our theme, which is how do they define self-healing and what it means to them, and how their spiritual work promotes it. And I think this all just ties really well into what Rosemary was saying. Really, if we want to see peace within the world, we want to see it within ourselves. And everyone I know on this call is aspiring toward that goal. So we're going to go ahead and hear from everyone. So we're going to just start off with Rosemary. Again, Rosemary, please just share with us what self-healing means to you and how your work this month will help promote it.
Thank you, Mariah. All healing is self-healing, and I say that after many years' experience working as a homeopath with people who wish to heal. Unless we want to heal, envision healing, believe we can heal, and put our mind and our heart into it, we can, outside forces can be helping us to heal, and we will end up sabotaging the healing that's going on. All healing is self-healing. The pain and stress, whatever it is that we may be experiencing, expresses the ways that we're resisting what is true, what we perceive as true now in our life. My life work has involved understanding the interaction between our individual self and our universal shared consciousness. Healing occurs when we accept, change our ideas, share, care, and nurture consciousness and uplift others, trusting that we will always fully receive and participate in what truly matters. That's what we're going to be working with and studying and discussing and growing into this month.
Thank you, Rosemary, for sharing your thoughts. We're going to go over to Jeffrey.
Yes, my piece on this is self-healing with fire ceremonies. For a long time on Earth, fire ceremonies during moon cycles have been offered with love to tribes and communities. By creating sacred space, safe space, you can step beyond the daily energy that you're surrounded with. In this space, you can go deeply within to find what needs to be released or what needs to be planted for growth. The full moons are for planting the seeds for growth. The full moons are for releasing energies that no longer serve a purpose. And as a community, we gather and it builds, our love builds within the community, and it makes the difference within ourselves and the community. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jeffrey, for sharing your thoughts on this theme. And as Jeffrey said, he does healing within nature, within fire ceremonies. And we have another spiritual leader, Chris, who works with nature. So Chris, why don't you share with us your thoughts on the theme and how your work helps promote it?
Oh, thank you, Mariah. Well, I love this theme and tying into what Jeffrey and Reverend Rosemary shared. Living is healing, right? Living is self-healing. And peace and healing are what I find in my connection with nature. And I've been called to ministry to do things with nature, not just in nature. And I'll be bringing shamanic practices and just reflection and simple things we can do outdoors. You can join me inside or hopefully outside on your phone. But the idea is to connect with nature and feel the support and exchange and reciprocal relationship with our Mother Earth and all our relations and all beings and all kingdoms, and to work with them to identify things that are patterns in us and patterns in behavior that we would like to change or release, perhaps through a fire ceremony. Or that'll be the first thing we actually do, is identify that, and then really examine what is it that we want to take on. It's one thing to release and change for self-love and self-healing. Is there something we want to add, something we want to enhance or strengthen? And that'll be what we do in the rest of the series. It's a 3-part series. So I think the connection with nature is what I bring, and we'll be doing that through a variety of different practices. And I will be outside for every one of those, and I hope you'll join me.
Thank you, Chris. I like how you emphasize the connection piece, and we've heard a lot about that today. It's very true. Thank you. And next, we're going to go over to Alex and Leland and have them also share a bit about the theme and how their work will help promote it.
So following on what Chris mentioned about being in nature and using nature's healing, what we offer is using the nature elements and how Chinese medicine brings that into the body and into a personal practice. So we want to talk about the body and our senses as a gateway to spiritual connection. And would you say that the times you've had like a divine experience, a really special experience, it might be hard to put words to it, but it feels visceral?
What's visceral?
Visceral means like in the body.
Oh,
Yeah. But many times we might all have tried to share it with somebody, that experience, or we might use music, or art, or movement, or creativity, like you like to say, Alex.
health through creativity. And creativity in health.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes. So we use two main tools for that connection of the body to a divine experience. And one is Qigong, which are a wide range of Chinese energy practices that connect the body, mind, and spirit. And then two, the live acoustic music that I play with Alex, and he brings forth a lot of that creativity. And so as we practice being in the present moment with Qigong and live music, then in that self-awareness, healing can happen. And then when we add love and self-love and compassion and a smile to our face, then the benefits multiply. So as our relaxation happens and circulation increases, we again come to the present moment, and we have more capacity for feelings of love and kindness and feeling supported. And so the journey of self-love and self-healing comes from within, and we look forward to facilitating that with you. And now we invite you to a quick energy practice. Please join to bring intention towards your heart. So you're going to hold your palms facing your chest and move your hands like a water wheel. Okay. Nice deep breaths. Breathe in kindness, love, peace, community, allow your arms and energy to flow with your breath. Relax into the movement. Bring that love and self-healing to your heart space. And bringing both palms to your heart. And breathe in and out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex and Leland. That was a great experience. And I really like how you talked about self-compassion. It's such an important part of healing. Now we're going to go over to Oswaldo, and he's also going to share some thoughts on self-healing and how his work helps foster self-healing. Oswaldo?
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Leland. Thank you, Alex, for that energy movement, for that heart-touching energy. And thank to all of my mates and Live in Peace. What is clear here is that we are committed to create something that benefits everyone. We are here to serve in the purpose of love and light. Self-healing is, in my perspective, is about becoming the creator of my life. Because I've been created with the capacity of self-healing myself. It's a redundance, but I just wanted to remind myself that it's not about finding answers outside. It's not pointing the one who I think is wrong, or putting my hands in the one that I think is right. What we are experiencing right now in the world is clear that the planet is not the same, our society is not the same, our consciousness are not the same. And the message is simple. We can create one or two things, chaos or peace. And I just resonate very profound with the idea of creating peace, because peace is the legacy that I want to live in this life, to my family, to my nature, to my planet. It's the only answer in this moment for me. I always say that in order to fight, we need two, but to experience love, it only needs one. And I am the one who brings love to this moment in life. I am the one who creates peace sustained in unconditional love. And I am the one who experiences first. As the Unity song says, let it be peace in the world, and this begins in me. We must be the one who share this blessing. We must be the one who sustain this white flag saying, here is peace. I know that none of us says yes to chaos. I know that we don't say yes to any reason to do this, but we must be the ones who sustain peace. Self-healing is about recovering my power. Self-healing is not about giving up to the circumstances, because I am. Therefore, I can, because that's in me. My will, my power, my faith. I take these Unity teachings and I said, this is the tool that I'm using, that I'm going to sustain my life in this, because that's what is my choice today. I'm going to invite you just one moment to close your eyes with me and connect. I see that we are 26 participants in this summit, and we are one with just one intention. I am. As I am, I spread my power in the form of love. I'm not denying what is happening in my world, but also I'm clarifying to myself that I am the power of love, strength, wisdom. And this is my contribution in these moments to my planet. Breathe with me. And there is this Tibetan meditation breathing that we call Tangol. Just bring to your heart the pain and the chaos. Inhale it, as your heart has the power to transform everything, anything, into love. Exhale, love. One more time. Sustain and share love. Last time. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of our humongous contribution to this process of life. Self-healing is taking back our own power to ourselves in the name of love. Aho. Thank you, Mariah.
Thank you, Oswaldo, for sharing your thoughts and for guiding us through that lovely meditation. And finally, we're going to hear from Nancy about her thoughts on self-healing and how her work relates to this month's theme. Go ahead, Nancy.
Okay. Per and I look at healing as a journey that invites intention, commitment, and love of yourself. In its ability to call one into the presence of the divine, the healing journey also calls one to examine one's own actions and words. As self-love overcomes the fear of looking at yourself, the courage to engage in the process manifests markers of healing every day. Healing is not a linear process. It's a journey into the spirals of being, engaging the same experiences in new ways, always with the intention of becoming more of who one is, rather than who one should be. Chaplaincy and pastoral counseling, the work intersects most commonly in the act of carefully listening to the stories and experiences of the one who comes to visit. As your questions arise and are heard, we guide you in your own journey toward love and healing. That journey brings about a deep peace that people yearn for. Our work does not provide quick fixes or advice. It provides you with the opportunity to voice personal and psychic pain within a non-judgmental, non-anxious, confidential space. As chaplains, we provide presence and regard for each person in a supportive environment. Enabling access to a safe, non-interfering space for conversation enables each one to explore and question beliefs so that from the start, your goals of care can be met. As pastoral counselors, we provide spiritual support in the context of clinical pastoral care. Hurt people, mostly without intending to. Recognizing one's actual intention and aligning it with one's attitude, thoughts, values, feelings, and personality bring congruence and integrity to the relationship with self, others, and spirit. As people learn to reframe problems, engage in new ways of thinking, and discover new tools, they are able to reduce their suffering and heal themselves. As hurt people heal, they also begin to heal those around them. So, I invite you to visit us, the Community Chaplains, on Living Peace Now platform. Our first program is on grief. So, it's a little bit different from the others, but it's all the same. We talk about loving yourself and becoming more peaceful inside of yourself. And as you do that, your world will become more peaceful because your relationships will become more peaceful. That's it.
Thank you, Nancy, for your thoughts on that. And thank you to all the spiritual leaders for sharing more about the theme and about your work. I hope all participants, you have heard about some ideas you would like to learn more about, or some spiritual work from some of our leaders that sounds interesting to you. But as promised, right now we're going to give you an opportunity to ask questions or make comments on anything the spiritual leaders have shared. I'm going to share a few questions in the chat that might help you to stimulate some things you might want to ask or comment on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put us in gallery view. So if any of you would like to speak, maybe use the reaction feature. On the bottom bar of the screen, there's a little smiley face icon. And if you click on it, you can do a clapping or a thumbs up. And yeah, if you would like to share anything, I'll unmute you and we'll get the conversation going. And then the same thing, if any of the spiritual leaders want to speak, they can do the same thing. Or you could just do like a hand wave if you have your camera on. So, yeah. And while you all are thinking, oh, I see Leon and Alex reacted, but really quickly, Chris has been sharing, the website is Living Peace Now, and that's where you're going to be able to see access to all of our programs, and we'll talk about it more after the Q&A. But Alex and Leland, do you have something?
Yes, we were enjoying the
Silence. It's the space between the sound. Very enriching.
Yes.
When I go into schools, I tell them, don't just play the beats. It's the space between the beats that helps make the music happen.
It's very true. Right? In music, the rest have a mark as well, just as important.
You even know the technical terminology.
And I think to enjoy that silence, like, well, right now it was there, you know, as no one was quite talking yet. But sometimes when so much is in our head, it's nice to do something in our bodies to then allow the mind to more naturally come to moments of silence internally.
I see that someone asked if Marty was asking a question, but to me it looks like he's typing, but I'm not sure. I don't think he has a question.
I'm very pleased with all who, as I posted, all who accepted the invitation for today, for something new to possibly look at and be a part of. We're all trying our best to do our part in the world, just like everyone else is, and it'd be great to hear from you folks at some point, maybe not right this moment, but further on down the road, and there's a great group of people here that we're organizing together to help with many things from all directions, and I hope that everybody gets the chance at some point to watch. I have a fire ceremony tomorrow afternoon. It is going to be at 2 o'clock Eastern time, if anybody's interested, and I hope that you can zoom in and check it out. It's one of my offerings. It's the full moon fire, which means releasing of things that no longer serve us, energy that no longer serves us. So I hope to possibly see some of you folks there tomorrow. Thank you.
And I'm really curious, what What about peace? What are the hard questions? What are the interesting questions? And Karen is asking, how do you get to the full moon ceremony? So address that first. But I'm curious, really. Share a little bit of what you're interested in. Thank you.
Well, Karen, it's if you look on Living Peace Now, you'll see the site you can zoom on to for tomorrow's fire ceremony.
Thank you.
Yeah, Karen, after we answer any other questions people have about the theme, I'm going to share my screen and show everyone where you can find and access all the programming. And I think that answers Christine's question as well. I'm also going to show you how you can find contact information if you want to talk to an individual spiritual leader as well. So we'll be going over all of that. Yeah, I see a lot of access questions. So I'm happy to roll into that if there aren't any other questions or comments.
I can't raise my hand.
Okay, Karen, and then I see Nina after you.
Okay, I would just like to say that as Waldo mentioned with the peace song, I do believe that it begins with me. And I want to thank everyone, Leela and Rosemary and Chris and Jeffrey, all of you for the gifts that you've given today. I think, I've always been aware that I needed to be more of a participant, Rosemary, than I am, and I'm not sure what the ways are that I can do that, but maybe through this I'll find out more ways that I can be more active in promoting peace in this world. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. That is exactly what together we're going to build, is ways to contribute. Not just us, but everybody.
All right. Yes, and I see Nina's question is also about access. So I think we have a lot of questions about that. So let's go right into that. Okay. So this is our website, Living Peace Now. Can everyone nod if you can see the website? Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure participants could see it. So if you go to livingpeacenow.org, this is what you will see. And to find out about our programs, you can go to upcoming events. And let's say you want to attend the fire ceremony, because someone asked about that. As you can see, we have June 5th. We have 2:30. I think Jeffrey said 2, but we'll make sure we get that finalized. But here, if you click on the event, you'll see it. And then there's a link right here, and this is the Zoom link to join the event. And I have all the events set up this way. So again, it's just this tab at the top that says upcoming events. And you all should have access to everything because you're here today. Part of the deal is if you register for the summit, you get access to events. Another way you can get to this, and another thing I want to show you, if you click under this forums tab, you can see there's several forums here, and let's see. Okay, we have one that says Opening Summit. And then under here, I put a tab that says Welcome, Easy Access to Program, Calendar, and Links. So if you don't like individually clicking in on each event, as I showed you before, again, this is under Forums, the Opening Summit tab, and then go into this page that says Welcome, Easy Access to Program, Calendar, and Links. It explains everything here, what I just showed you about how you can get to it under the event tab, but it also explains and shares a Google Doc link, which we will go to. And I made this because I'm a very visual person, and if you want to be able to kind of see everything at the same time, we have it all organized here for you. All the live events, we have the links, so you can go right into this calendar, If you want to go to Tones for Your Bones on Saturday, just go to this calendar, click on this link, you're there. And it also has some of our non-live programming. We didn't talk much about that today, but for example, you'll see we're going to be posting non-live videos that will be viewing and discussing the next day with Nancy and Para. Jeffrey's going to be sharing some blog posts. Rosemary will also be doing some posts. Oswaldo will have some recordings and other things. So again, everything you need is right here on the website. So I hope that helps. Okay, someone just joined. Awesome. So that is the overview of how everything works. Are there any other questions? Again, the link is just livingpeacenow.org. Are there any other questions or comments from the participants for any of our spiritual leaders? Okay, if not, oh, I see Rosemary. Are you trying to say something? I see you're muted.
I was trying to bring forth Nina Cannon's question from the chat, that she went to the site and did not see any links.
Hi, Nina. You need to join the site. This is Chris. You need to just, on the menu, you'll see join, and you just set up a quick little profile, and then you'll have access to everything that Mariah just shared.
Okay, and I saw that Nancy had her hand raised.
Yes, when I was telling what we chaplains think about healing and love and peace, I forgot to say this was focused on one-on-one sessions of what I said. In fact, Para and I will have mostly video shows several times a month. So the first one, I guess, is next week, and in that one I interview Para about the death of her mother, and it shows what a talk with the chaplain's about. We have other modalities we're going to use, so it's not entirely about counseling. We'll talk more about ways to heal yourself and heal your spirit in more didactic ways, I suppose, rather than experiential. That's it. Oh, over and out.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy, for adding more about that. Yeah, I wanted to highlight for everyone that there are other things that aren't live, so we don't want you to miss out on those things as well. And one more thing, since you're all here today, you will get access to a bonus session. I'm going to be doing a loving kindness meditation on the 23rd. And we're going to be sending out weekly affirmations for all of you starting next week to help you foster your self-love and self-healing. And again, I want to highlight the website is livingpeacenow.org. And as Chris said, you must be registered to get access to this and everything else that we're doing, that our presenters are doing. I think that's everything we have, unless Rosemary or one of the spiritual leaders would like to give some closing comments or words.
Yes, I would like to, if I may. I just want to thank all of you for being part of this launch. And I invite you right now to go within to the silence inside you and to slow your breathing for a moment and connect with your inner awareness around peace and around being a part of this community. becoming a part, helping to grow it. When we do that, when we go into the silence, we find our connected self, our one self, and whatever we are feeling in that silence is trustable guidance for us. It's always something we can do to go within and say, could I do this? What should I do? So I invite you to do that right now about living peace now. And then keeping that awareness, knowing what you found inside. As you feel comfortable, bringing your awareness back into your space, into your physical space, into your physical body, and moving your toes so you come back into your body. And then I invite you to share joy, gratitude with a big smile to everybody. And thank you all very, very much. Namaste.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you, everyone, for being on today. Look forward to working with you this month.
Have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Thank you.
All right. Oh, I see someone successfully registered. Yay. And thank you to all the participants for sharing your gratitude in the chat. It's really wonderful to see that. Thank you. Are we still getting played out, Alex and Leland?
Sure. Sure, we could do that.
Okay, great.
Why don't we do May Days? Is that
Okay,
too much?
whatever you decide.
We're gonna. I know that Nancy likes happy stuff, even though she's doing a thing on grief. But we'll do. This is an original composition that I wrote in May many years ago. But we could do it in June too. So it's called May Days, and it's written in the style, Brazilian samba style, that I use that arrangement to. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right.
Although, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Up.
everyone.
job. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for being here. Hi, Lorraine.